All right, let's dive into a powerful story told by Jesus himself. It's a parable that reveals a pretty stunning truth about ownership, rebellion, and a divine comeback that honestly changes everything. Okay, so imagine this. You're walking down the street and you spot a crisp $100 bill just lying there on the pavement. What's the first thing that goes through your mind? I bet it's something like, wow, it's my lucky day. This is mine now.
But is it really? That feeling right there, that powerful illusion of ownership, just because the real owner isn't standing right in front of you, that's the absolute key to understanding the incredible story we're going to explore today. So Jesus kicks off his story with a generous landowner. And this isn't just any old piece of land either. This guy builds a perfect, fully equipped vineyard from scratch. And get this, the owner provided literally everything. A strong fence for protection, a wine press to get the most out of the harvest, and even a watchtower for security. The tenants? They didn't have to put in a dime. All they had to do was show up and work. It was a total gift, a pure opportunity.
Now, you have to understand, for the people hearing this for the first time, this was way more than just a farming story. It was like a mirror. The vineyard was a symbol for all the blessings of God's special relationship, his covenant with his people, Israel. And the tenants? Well, they represented the spiritual leaders who were supposed to be taking care of it all. So everything was set up for a win-win situation. When harvest time finally rolled around, the owner, who had every right to his share of the profits, sent a servant to the tenants to collect. Seems simple enough, right? Yeah, not so much. The tenant's response was just shockingly violent. They grabbed the first servant, beat him, and sent him away with nothing. So the owner, showing some serious patience, sends another one. They wound him in the head and humiliate him. He sends more, and they get beaten or even killed. This escalation is just wild, and it shows the owner's unbelievable patience in the face of this crazy rebellion.
So you have to ask yourself, what happened? How did things go so wrong? Well, over time, with the owner being away, the tenants just kind of forgot they were managers. They started to act like they were the true owners. And that gratitude they felt at first, it just got replaced by this dangerous idea that they were entitled to it all. Okay, this is where the tenants' rebellion hits its peak. After all his servants have been rejected, beaten, and killed, the owner makes one last desperate, hopeful attempt to get through to them.
He sends his own son, his one and only beloved son. Now, everybody listening to Jesus tell this story would have picked up on this immediately. This is a direct reference to Jesus himself, God's own son, sent as the ultimate messenger. But respect? No, that's not what they were thinking at all. Instead of respect, they saw their ultimate opportunity. Their logic was just chillingly calculated. If they could just get rid of the heir, the vineyard would finally be theirs. Now, you might be thinking, that's just crazy. How could that possibly work? Well, it wasn't a totally random idea. It was actually based on a kind of legal loophole from that time. There was this custom that if a property's owner and heir were gone for long enough, the people working the land could potentially make a legal claim on it. They were making a gamble. And this little detail, it's huge. The tenants dragged the son outside the vineyard to kill him. They cast him out. In the exact same way, Jesus was executed outside the city walls of Jerusalem, literally cast out and rejected by the very people he came to save. So, after this final, just horrific act of rebellion, Jesus turns to the crowd and basically asks them, okay, you tell me, what do you think the owner of the vineyard is going to do now? And really, there's only one answer, isn't there? The judgment is going to be swift, and it's going to be absolute. The owner will come, he'll destroy those tenants who murdered his son, and he'll give the vineyard to others. The very people who tried to steal everything would end up losing everything. And you know, this prophecy actually played out in a really tragic way. In the year 70 AD, the Roman army came in and destroyed Jerusalem and its temple. The whole religious system that had rejected Christ was taken apart. And the vineyard, God's kingdom, was given to new people, the church, made up of anyone, Jew or Gentile, who accepted the Son. But hold on, because the story isn't over. It doesn't end with judgment. There's one more incredible twist, a total comeback story that Jesus reveals by quoting an ancient scripture. And this right here, this is the heart of the whole thing. What human beings looked at and saw as a useless problem to be thrown away,
God saw as the single most important piece of his entire plan.
Jesus takes this verse and applies it directly to himself. He is that stone. The religious leaders, the builders of the day, rejected him, threw him out like a useless piece of rock. But God picked him up and made him the cornerstone, the very foundation of a whole new spiritual creation.
So why is a cornerstone so important? Well, in ancient building, the cornerstone was the first stone laid. It was the one that aligned and held the entire structure together. So what Jesus is saying is that his death wasn't the end. Through his resurrection, God took the worst thing humanity could do and turned it into the greatest act of salvation, creating a new community of faith with Jesus as its unshakable foundation. And so, this ancient story leaves every single one of us with a very modern, very personal question. In the vineyard of your life, your time, your talents, your relationships, everything you have, are you living like a grateful manager, a steward of the incredible gifts you've been given, or are you maybe trying to be the owner, slowly pushing the true owner out of the picture?